Welcome everybody to our AI radio room. Today we are joined by
Christian Pusateri, co-founder of My Network, head of BD and PR and marketing.
Lovely. So could you tell us a little bit more about your project?
Yes. So My Network is an FHE project. We were one of the first ones in the space. So FHE is the holy grail of cryptography. It's the ability to run compute on encrypted data without decrypting it. So the implications of FHE on the web will be pretty revolutionary once the performance is up to par. Right now, we're still finding areas where performance is not so, like, doesn't have to be fast and run real time because there's a hardware acceleration contingency they're waiting on. But there are plenty of places that FHE can be applied now that offer better data ownership, better security, and more confidential compute, aka privacy, in places where you need it.
Sure. Okay, that's a good start. So maybe share a little bit about your journey. So what kind of drew you to this space? What made you
Me
want to
personally?
start? Yes, yeah.
To My Network or to
mine.
Yeah, cool. Okay, cool. So I think crypto broadly just called to me, like it has to so many of us, because it solves a lot of the global economic and social and governing issues that we see. And then instantly I saw data privacy start to become a problem around 2017 with Cambridge Analytica. That put it on my radar.
Yep.
And the fact that we had, global citizens have made this Faustian bargain with big tech for going on 20 years now, which is we don't want to pay for anything. We want to pay for apps, but we do really like using them. So we'll engage with the apps as long as it's free, but we're giving something up, and we're giving up basically a lot of our data, which 20 years ago wasn't very much. But now it's the contents of your messages, your emails, your geolocation, your contact information, your family, your friends, where you go every day, what time you go there, causes you care about, all the polls that you answer. So there's just an overwhelming amount of data. And now we see that a lot of the big tech companies can predict so much of our behavior, our social behavior, political orientation, sexual orientation. They can tell these things about us based on the data that they're getting. So broadly speaking, high level, we need better data protection, and we're not getting it. Then in Web3, coming into this space, the infrastructure is there for decentralization, for economic rewards of tech to be distributed more broadly to independent users and to small businesses, which is a huge problem globally. We've had a shrinking middle class in the West and now as well in Asia.
Yep.
You've got a millennial generation that's pretty pissed off that we're not living up to the standards of our parents because a lot of wealth has been siphoned away through inflation and so these problems were all there, and I loved Web3, but there's worse privacy in Web3 than there is in Web2, actually. So in Web2, it's provided by a centralized service, but in Web3, it's just all public. So we have to raise the bar. All Web3 data currently is made to be public data, so we need better privacy restrictions. And so I started kind of just talking broadly about data ownership and data privacy and my socials and connecting with some of the brightest minds in the space, and stumbled upon the three original founders of My Network, who are all brilliant PhDs, award-winning research scientists, work for some of the biggest companies in the world, building out, architecture and security protocols. And our vision is just aligned.
Perfect. So how does that differ from ZK technology?
So ZK is being used for scalability, where it's really proved it's found product market fit. The problem with ZK is that zero-knowledge proofs are performed off-chain. The compute is performed off-chain, and the proof is going on-chain. So that's one issue. The other issue is that whoever's running the ZK sees the underlying data. So you see the raw data. So there's still a trust assumption there with whoever's running ZK. So with FHE, nobody sees the underlying data. My network doesn't see it. Okay, we create a shared private state where anybody can get the information they need. They can run compute, they can process the information, but nobody ever gets to see the raw data. This is also beneficial because if there ever is a breach in whatever form, bad actors, hackers, they're getting ciphertext they can't do anything with.
Of course.
So in that way, it's a more robust solution to ZK, but it also isn't totally competitive with ZK. Like, we use ZK in our decentralized storage. We have an FHE data lake. We use ZK for input-output. So it's not competitive. It's really complementary in more cases. But in terms of creating an end-to-end encrypted web, FHE is pivotal. It is like the encryption type that you need, probably in addition to ZK as a supplementary and MPC. But FHE is really the crown jewel.
Okay, very interesting. So maybe next, what drew you to work at the intersection of AI and Web3? And why do you think the combination has so much potential?
It has a lot of power right now. That's a great question. This question has been floating around. I've heard recently in AMAs of like, does crypto need AI or does AI need crypto?
Yes, exactly.
And I completely think that crypto needs AI. And what's really wonderful about this moment in time and the crypto narrative, the AI narrative in crypto, is that in previous bull cycles are tend to be times when crypto reaches across the aisle, the Web 2, and that's when we grab a lot of share, a lot of market share, a lot of users because everyone's excited about this, right? We're in that period probably right now. In previous bull cycles, the solutions being offered in Web3 were often solutions that nobody really knew existed. So, right, so in the first Bitcoin bull cycle, no one knew what Bitcoin was. Very few people understood central banking or fractional reserve lending or global, monetary policy and why Bitcoin was solving a millennia-old problem of medium of exchange that doesn't get debased, right? Now people are seeing that. Like once Larry Fink gets it, it's safe to say that, boomers are getting it. But
finally,
there's a huge, finally. But in, again, even in the 2016, 2017, 18, I guess, bull cycle, again, there's a problem being solved, but not everyone in Web 2 understands really what it is. NFTs are cool, ERC20, okay, this is great, programmability, the computer of the computer of the internet, great narrative, solving a problem that wasn't exactly pressing at the moment. Centralized AI is a pressing problem. So this is why the crypto AI narrative to me is so powerful right now. You're seeing headlines every week about the dangers of centralized AI. You've got Elon Musk saying that it's 10 to 20% risk of driving humanity into oblivion or existential threat. Emad Mustak of Stable Diffusion stepping down, going to work with Render, right, a crypto AI company. You've got Jeffrey Hinton, the VP of Google, who launched AI at Google, the VP of AI at Google, who launched AI, stepping down, saying this isn't working. You've got think tanks out of, You've got think tanks out of Silicon Valley, traditionally very software driven, like the 90s kind of boom guys that are having these think tanks, these events around this centralized AI problem. It's in the headlines all the time. OpenAI is stealing Scarlett Johansson's voice. They're being sued by the Authors Guild. They're being sued by the state of California. They're being sued by New York Times because they trained ChatGPT-3 on public data. So that news hitting mainstream media and Web 2 is driving people to look for solutions. And crypto AI has a lot of these solutions. So I think it's an incredibly exciting time to be in crypto if you're in AI.
Yeah, it's a brilliant answer, by the way. So more of a personal one. What have you found to be your favorite ways to use AI just in your everyday life?
Well, so far, I think the most common use case for me is LLMs.
Yes.
Probably will continue to be. I love agents and bots. I think that agents right now for high frequency trading or for pattern recognition and trading is probably one of the most used cases. I like that as well. I think that those are common. But I think we need to get, I still refrain from using LLMs because I don't want to put sensitive IP into our LLM, especially if you're in crypto and you're building products that are going to compete with OpenAI.
Exactly. You're
a little paranoid. Like, hey, are they going to get savvy to this? And maybe, there's a non-zero chance that OpenAI already has figured out AGI and that's what they're using for productization. I'm not saying it's happening, but there's a non-zero chance, in which case, if you share too much, they can potentially take that information, iterate on it, build a product so fast you wouldn't even believe that they did it, and it would seem organic. It might seem like it's just a coincidence.
Yep.
But you don't know. So I refrain a lot. I'd love to see, FHE LLMs to me are kind of the holy grail of AI. We're still a few years away from having the hardware capability.
Yeah.
But to me, when you can prompt an LLM or an agent, train it with all of your data, your IP, all of your docs, everything about you, know that it's encrypted. You hold the key pair so nobody has access to it. And you have a true agent that really knows you and can respond online in the digital world the way that you would respond, can execute tasks the way that you would do them. That's going to be the ultimate use case. And I mean, same with LLMs, which I think are a part of that. So that's what I think we're building toward. But I think there hopefully will be some pause before people continue to just use LLMs for everything. And they go, wait a minute, we don't want to be giving OpenAI all this data. So are there other options in crypto perhaps?
No, you make a really good point. People are giving their data away practically for free.
Yeah.
It happens all the time. But again, we have another instance of this sort of thing. And crypto definitely could be a good solution for that sort of thing, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So the final question is, why might the average user want to adopt a decentralized model over existing solutions? I guess we've kind of touched on that point, but Maybe you could elaborate directly on that question.
Well, I think, yeah, the AI projects that we see coming out now allow for participation in every single stage of AI development.
Sure.
So those stages, roughly speaking, are data aggregation, model creation, model training, and then refinement, and then inference. So in a centralized model, you don't participate in the economic rewards of any of that. It's like, your data was used to train the model, then your prompt data, the inference, the data that comes as a result of inference, and then your prompting models, this is all shared back to the centralized AI. So we're just enriching them. The reason you want to engage in decentralized AI platforms is because you can earn tokens from data aggregation. Projects like getgrass.io.
Sure.
You can participate in the inference, right? Economic rewards from inference, like Allura. Flock, IONET, decentralized GPU compute, right? If you want to, you can participate in the economic rewards of AI development as a user. You can be a miner, you can make models. Okay, I think there's a pretty well-trodden path now of earning money from being a crypto model maker in crypto AI networks like BitTensor and the rest.
Sure.
And you could be a validator. So if you have a lot of money sitting around, you $35,000 burning a hole in your pocket, you can go be a validator on a BitTensor or something as well. But even as a user, you can participate by buying these tokens or contributing to validators, and you can now earn rewards from them working. So as long as the models work well and they compete with the centralized versions and they do what they say, if they help you with trading or if they're LLMs or whatever they are, then why not also earn tokens from using these things and earn money as well? I think distributing the economic rewards, making money instead of giving it all back to Microsoft, Google, and OpenAI is a pretty good selling point.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
So thank you, Chris. We look forward to working with Mind Network as the next few weeks go by, months, years.
We are.
Let's see where we go.
We're building currently. Yeah, we're happy to be working with you guys. Yeah.
Thanks again.
Thanks, man.